Hello, and welcome to another video. This one's about superiority, where it manifests itself and if it's okay or not. Well, we have feelings of superiority cropping up in the usual places like wealth, possessions, education, upbringing. But then we also have it cropping up in places that aren't so obvious, such as religious beliefs, or one's diet, or exercise habits. How about one's accent, or nation of origin, or of course race, which is an obvious one. If you have more possessions than another person, is it okay for you to feel superior? I hope you realize that it's not okay. If you have more money than someone else, is it okay for you to feel superior? No. If you have better cars, better houses, bigger houses, more clothes, more of everything, is it okay for you to feel superior? No. It is okay, however, for you to feel grateful for all that you have and to share the stuff that you have with others who are less fortunate. I'm not saying you should let somebody on the street drive your Lamborghini, if you have one. But there are ways to share what you have, whether it's your knowledge, your time, and perhaps some of your possessions with people that you choose very carefully so that you can enrich their lives. But this video is not about donations and charitable actions. This is about feelings of superiority. So let's move on. Say you go somewhere and you hear somebody who's got an accent that is even these days considered to be inferior, such as a very deep southern accent. You might call it a redneck accent. Does that give you the right to feel superior? I would say no, even though that person may look you're inferior in every way. In almost every way, but it doesn't give you the right to feel superior. Say you go to a third world country, to what is considered to be a third world country. Does that give you the right to feel superior toward the people in that country? You see them living in what you consider to be squalor, what they consider to be normal. Does that give you the right to feel superior? No. No, it doesn't. So, what about religion? This is a controversial topic. But does a certain religious belief give you the right to feel superior towards someone else? I hope you realize that by now my answer is going to be no to that question. But I have to warn you, even nowadays in the 21st century, after all of the lessons that we've had throughout history, many religions still give their members a sense of entitlement, a sense of superiority that they're supposed to feel because they belong to that religion. And I realize it's part of the draw of that particular church. It's part of the way of making its members feel drawn together, connected, whatever, contribute more money to their church and whatnot. But it's not right. It's not right. And we see it happening in all of the religions to a greater or to a lesser extent. A very obvious example of this would be the idea that someone who belongs to a certain religion has gone through the ritual of baptism, say, and has professed belief in God and blah, 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 and all the other stuff that goes along with belonging to that church, is now saved. That person now feels superior to others. Well, I'm saved, you're not. You're going to hell, I'm going to heaven. Whatever those notions mean. And that is not okay. That is not okay to step down on other people. To believe that somebody, just because he doesn't belong to your church, just because he doesn't didn't dip his head in some stupid tub of water is now inferior to you. That is not okay. By the same token, it is also not okay for an atheist or an agnostic to feel superior toward those who belong to a religion, even though they're sorely tempted to feel superior. And I understand where these people are coming from, you know. They rather have everything be rational, be logical, be provable, explainable, seeable, touchable, tangible. And they don't understand how somebody can just believe in something just because it's written in a book. But again, it's not okay for you to feel superior to the people who are religious just because you don't understand why they choose to believe those things. Let's move on to food. Food diet is another topic that is controversial these days because, well, there are more and more vegans in the world, vegetarians and raw foodists. And of course, more and more, we're learning more and more these days about how animals are treated in the factory farms and how they're slaughtered and what horrible lives they lead, you know, from being born to dying and being fed all kinds of drugs to keep them alive, being kept in small confined spaces and being slaughtered the way they're slaughtered and whatnot. And of course, also about the pollution that these factory farms are causing, is causing all over the world. I mean, you have all of these incredible cesspools of waste products from these farms that are so poisonous that if they're released into rivers or into bodies of water, fish die by the millions. They're incredibly poisonous and malodorous, and you can't do anything with them but just let them sit there by these farms in these enclosed pools, because if they seep into the ground, they poison it. And we have to deal with that reality because those of us who are meat eaters, you know, we're contributing to that. And so we have people on both sides of the fence who are saying, well, I'm vegan, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a raw foodist, I don't contribute to the problem, therefore I feel superior. And that's not okay. It's not okay to feel that way, even though you may feel that you're in the right. And then you have people on the other side of the fence, the meat eaters, who say, you're stupid, you're all weaklings, you have nutritional deficiencies because only meat provides certain vitamins and whatnot. And we're stronger than you and better than you, so they want to feel superior. And that's not okay either. It's not okay. And then, of course, you have the raw foodists and the vegans, the pure vegans, who are going around bragging about how they're 100% raw, or they haven't touched dairy or meat for 10 years, and they're pure, and their thought is pure, and their aura is pure, and that is not okay either. And I should know, I'm a raw foodist, I'm a vegan, and I keep telling people, because my wife and I, that's what we do, one of our projects is we educate people about raw food, and we keep telling them, be tolerant. It doesn't matter how much raw food you eat, you don't have to go around bragging about it. It's not okay. It's not okay to feel superior about these things. It is your personal choice. When you choose to do it, you do it for particular reasons, and stick to those reasons. Don't do it because it makes you feel superior. Yeah. The thing is, this feeling of superiority is something that is ingrained in us, unfortunately. We have a need, a deep-seated need to feel superior, to feel better than others. And it manifests itself in all of these places that you can think of, and places that you can't think of right now, that I can't think of right now. I'm sure there are a lot more examples I could give you if I sat down for like a week and just jotted all of the ideas down, but this video would get really long then, and it's already long enough. The thing that I'm trying to get across here, and this is the crux of the video, is that even though we have this deep-seated need to feel superior, it is not a need that we should feel by trotting down on others for whatever reasons. If we want to feel better about ourselves, because that's really what it's about, we want to feel better about who we are, we need some sort of validation, and we're looking for it in external places, through circumstances and possessions and beliefs and whatnots, or senses of belonging to certain communities or circles. We don't need to look for it outside of ourselves. We need to feel better about ourselves because of who we are inside. And that doesn't require us to be jackasses toward other people and to feel superior to them and to discriminate against them. That's not okay. Which is not okay. What is perfectly okay is for us to find out who we are, find out what we stand for, find out what we believe for ourselves. Basically the status quo of who we are. And then see whether we want to change that or not. Do we want to go toward a certain direction? Do we want to develop in a particular area? If we feel that we are lacking in a certain area, then we need to develop that by ourselves for our own internal reasons, for no external validation whatsoever, simply internal validation. And then everything's fine. Then we don't feel a need to feel superior to others, because we are each following our own path. It may intersect with others, it may go parallel to the paths of others, but it is our own path. We're not choosing it because of someone else. And that makes it perfectly okay for us. We feel complete then. We feel whole, and we don't have this ridiculous need to impress others or to feel better than them. So that's the message of the video, really. So I gave you a few examples and give you this message, and I hope that it helps you in your quest to be a better man, a better person. Now, some of you may say, well, is it ever okay to feel superior? I'm sure there's got to be some situation where it's okay for me to feel superior, because I've met some pretty horrible human beings in my time. And surely I'm better than those people, and it's okay for me to feel better than them. And my answer to you is yes, there are certain situations where it's okay for you to feel superior. They're few and far between, but they are there. What I would encourage you to do, if you want to find the answer to that question, just so I don't repeat myself, is to watch a video of mine called Respect and Discrimination. I made it a few months ago. I'm going to put a link to it at the bottom of the screen if I don't forget. If I do forget, then just search for it on my channel. You'll find it there. Or just go through the playlist for The Elegant Gentleman. It's going to be added there and listed there for sure. Thanks for watching. See you next time.